All right. Very warm welcome to everyone who has joined in and still joining in. And we welcome you to today's webinar on art and everyday dressing, which is going to be conducted by Divarati Roy. So just to give you a little brief about Sasmira and our department SCTP, I'll just like you to run you through our different activities. So SCTP is Sasmira's education and training program, and we cater to the three major aspects, that is fashion, textile, and merchandising. And we have various courses. We have full-time courses, part-time courses, and we do a lot of other activities, focused on these three areas, that is fashion, textiles, and merchandising. For our full-time courses, this is our uh, a list of courses that we offer at Sasmira, which has 2 years diploma programs in fashion and in textiles, and also a postgraduate program in merchandising, which is certified by Garware's Institute of Career Education and Development in association with Mumbai University. And moving forward, we have a 2 years course in fashion designing, which is certified from Sasmira. Also, coming to the part-time courses, we have introduced new part-time courses in fashion styling. We have the gist of which you all will be seeing today, what you all will be witnessing is a little piece of what we will be doing in our fashion styling course. This course is basically broken into two parts. So one part is 6 months, and the further 6 months is the advanced. So in totality, you can do a 1 year course in fashion styling. Along with that, we have uh, a course in fashion retail and visual merchandising. It is a 6 months part-time course. We have a course in apparel merchandising. Again, it's a 6 months part-time course. And we have introduced a new course in kidswear design, which is another very flourishing market, and something which does not or has not got its due importance, and the kind of trained and skilled people. So what we aim to do here is to provide exactly what the industry requires. So this is another very interesting course that we will be offering from this year. Just a quick look at our annual events that we have every year. The major annual event that we have every year is the Enchante. Every student who enrolls in our fashion designing course, it's their dream to present their fashion collection, to have their own range, and they have their own fashion show. So Enchante is what we call it, and that's where our final year students portray their fashion collections. So these are just a little glimpses of what Enchante looks like. The student collections. These are all award-winning collections that we have right now. Again, the textile designing student who has also presented a collection of handbags, and that's what is shown out here. And also our very loved annual event is the craft visit. Every year we try to take our students to different parts of our country, which is so rich in the heritage, in terms of textiles, in terms of weaves, in terms of different techniques. And what our aim is to try and take our students to these artisans, spend time with them, do workshops with them, and learn the nitty-gritties of how these crafts are done, and understand like what we get is the final product, but what are the different kind of processes and the pains that these people go through to create something which is so beautiful. And We have National Handloom Day coming in just a few days from now, it's 2 days from now, and also we have a seminar. So a shout out to, like, please do attend that seminar of ours as well, where we will be interacting with the weavers, and they will be talking about different, the current situation, and how they are going to be combating this, and how we are going to preserve our heritage. Of course, you can find us on social media. We have a channel on YouTube, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram. For detailed information of our courses, you can reach out to us on these addresses we have. You can check our website, you can contact us, and you can email us, and we will get back to you. Without taking any further time, let's get on to what we have, assembled here today for, of course, virtually and digitally. Today we are going to be talking about art in everyday living, and we welcome you, Devarati, and thank you for joining in and agreeing to conduct this workshop with us. A little bit about Devarati. It's been over a decade that she has been in the luxury hospitality sector. She has ventured into image consultancy, and she's ready to help people make a lasting impression. And she realizes the potential of self presentation skills, which is so important. And it helps people to connect better with one another. Today, she helps people take a leap in their personal and professional lives to emerge as better versions of themselves. She's a certified fashion stylist, image consultant, a soft skills trainer, and a personal branding coach. So, Devrati, we welcome you here on behalf of STP and all of you. Over to you. I think I will hand over the settings to you so you can start and you can enrich our members.
Yeah, sure. So thank you, Karishma, for the warm welcome. And it's such a pleasure to be here with all of you. I understand there are some ex-students of yours as well as current students,
Yeah.
people who are not from your institute as well. So I welcome all of you. So what I've tried to do is through the session, I've tried to keep the content neutral. So it's not just for the designing students or just for female audience. I've tried to keep the the content neutral. However, if you all have any specific questions, maybe you all can park the questions towards the end. Wherein, unless of course it's a slide and you all want to know specifically about the slide, please feel free to ask me that at that time. Okay.
Right. Absolutely.
Let's start with the presentation.
Yes, of course. Visible?
Yes, visible. You can do a full screen.
Yeah, I am. Just 1 sec. It is showing, isn't it full screen?
No, it's not. It's not.
It's showing full screen.
You can go to the next slide. We'll see if it's coming full screen. It's not showing full screen. No.
Okay, now?
It's not full screen.
Now?
In the sense the slide is big, however, the side parts, those slides are seen still.
No, that's going to be visible somehow.
That will be visible, right? Oh, then it's fine. Full screen. Yeah, cool. Yeah. No problem. Okay. So yes, that's I work under. I mean, Karishma has already given a detailed, introduction of myself. So I'll not take too much of your time. The brand I work under is Image by Devarati, and so Karishma, go to the next slide. So there are just 2 slides which you can just view my work. You'll understand exactly with the slides what I do. Basically, it is to do with corporate trainings called trainings for institutes. I do image transformations. Of course, now everything has gone virtual, so I do virtual consultations as well as trainings. I have my own, styling workshops, which I conduct for the open market. I take people on personal shopping as well. So this is like broadly what I do. Recently, I've started working with another, friend of mine who we do trainings for budding trainers. So basically, if there is somebody who's a budding trainer as an image consultant or a soft skills trainer, we've done around 2 batches. We're coming up with more. So that's another kind of work that I've just started doing. Okay, Kashmir will go next. These are the multiple brands that I've been associated with in the last 2 years. So Image by Devarati, it's been about 3 years that I've been working as full-fledged image consultant. Before that, I have a 10 years experience working with hotels. And so hotelier turned an image consultant. Yeah, these are the brands that I've worked with. We can start.
Yeah.
So art in everyday dressing, that's the topic that we will be covering. So just to dwell a little bit about the topic, there is art and there is everyday dressing. So what I'll do through the session is I'll split both. So I'll talk about art, clothing as art, and I will be talking about everyday dressing as well, and we'll try and merge both. That how is art and everyday dressing related? Okay, we the session. We go next. So I'll read this out to you. I am not certain if you all are able to see it well because the screen is quite small. Fashion is the armor to survive the reality of everyday life. Okay. This is Bill. The quote is from Bill Cunningham. He's no more actually. He used to be a legendary fashion photographer. Okay. So if you'll have to, if you'll take 2 minutes to think about this, somebody from the audience would like to tell me more about this. What do you think? Why is fashion an armor? Is fashion an armor? Can fashion be an armor? Anything that comes to your mind reading this. Anyone from the audience, from the participants? Would you like to share your opinion about this? You can take a minute, it's fine, no problem. So armor basically is it's like a shield, you know, the metal things which people wear. So how can fashion be an armor? If you're going to relate this to the current situation. So should I give an example? Yeah?
Yeah.
Easier for everyone to think. So let us look at the current situation that we are in. That is the pandemic time. All working out of home, difficult situation. So if you see, right, okay, I give a personal experience, okay? When this pandemic came in and we were all locked down completely in the beginning, so I did my first Facebook Live somewhere in the beginning of April. Okay, I think the second week or something like that. So, and while I was doing it, I, wore my regular clothes, whatever I would wear for a presentation, and I was putting perfume and I was sitting. I was just going to sit. And while I was doing it, my husband suddenly told me that, and he started laughing. He's like, who can smell you? Why are you even wearing a perfume? What's wrong with you? So, and subconsciously it was, that's how I would, get up, pick up that dress for my any other presentation or a training session. Nobody would even question me. But I was wondering that why is this question coming to me? At that point in time, I just told him, listen, this is, I don't get ready for others. I get ready for myself. And perfume is a regular thing I would always do. And it's a session that I'm doing. It's a 1 hour live session. I want to feel good. So then after that, of course, he didn't ask me again because I have been doing a lot of, lives and multiple sessions since then. But that got me thinking that, why should we just because we are working from home, why should the entire psychology be that, you can just wear anything and just sit down? Why not feel that you get up, you're at work, end of the day, and take that assignment, whatever you're doing, the meeting, that whatever you are doing, thinking that it is a personal, one-on-one session or a regular session where you're meeting people. You have the window to make an impact, right? That's single window. In fact, today isn't it more difficult for us? So the moment you're wearing the pass suit, if you're wearing a business suit, if you're wearing, something which you wear it to work and you wear it while you are, presenting yourself, I will get this one chance to present myself in front of Sasmira and the audience. I won't get it again and again. Of course, if Sasmira invites me in future, and again, I'll get an invitation only if this presentation is good. Yeah. So fashion, clothing, and fashion, of course, is not just clothing. We all understand it is about the entire look. Can be an armor. And of course, that point in time, while I was, wearing my clothes and things like that, that point in time, I was quite nervous or quite not certain that how will that, that presentation go. That was my first live. But when I wore I would wear it for my trainings, I felt so good. So instant change of mood. Right? So everyone is with me. Anyone wants to share an experience, or should we proceed? Should we proceed? Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Krishma next, yeah.
Next.
So what are we learning today? These are the 4 areas that we will be covering. We will speak about how clothing communicates, clothing as a variable form of art, clothing in our lifestyle, regular lifestyle, and personal style. Okay, Karishma, next.
Yes.
So now we are talking about clothing, but why do we dress up? So I'm sure all of us like to dress up. If we do, why do we dress up? Can anyone tell me this? This should be a simple answer. Any reason why you want to get
To look presentable.
to look presentable? Anything else? We have a lot of participants. I'm sure we can. Some of us can have some things to say.
It talks a lot about us, like the way we dress.
Right.
So for example, now let us say that I have a jury presentation
Okay.
and I wear a ghagra choli. That doesn't make
Okay.
sense. But
Okay.
if I wear formals, so the impression is okay, she's ready. She's not only ready for a presentation, but she has also made sure that she'll dress up in a way that it makes her, you know, stand out from others per se.
Stand out, make impressions.
Yeah,
So make it look appropriate.
yeah.
Right?
To feel
And
good. For a feel good.
feel good.
For a
Yes.
feel good factor. We dress up
Absolutely.
for our needs. We dress up
Our own right?
yeah, for our needs, which we can categorize into different categories.
So
To
needs,
feel good.
by saying needs, what would you mean?
There are so many. We have physical, first of all, then psychological, as what we have studied, then social, and then aesthetic. So all these needs can be like we can like consider one of them, and then that's why we put on clothes.
Very nice. Anyone else wants to answer? Should we go next?
To feel
Anyone?
confident, ma'am.
Feel one. Very
Can't
nice.
see the slides.
Sorry?
Sorry?
Can't see the presentation.
Yeah, she
Now?
put it. Karishma, actually the presentation has gone really small. The slide.
Very small.
I think the view is changed. It's the
Okay.
Yeah,
which is
it's
coming.
Now?
fine.
All right.
So we'll go next and see. Oh, sorry. Karishma has to change. I was changing from here. Okay, so some points that I have put in here in when you wear clothes. So colors in clothing stimulate our mood. Agreed? Get noticed? One of you have mentioned. Basic need of clothing, protection and safety. Okay, it describes who you are. Okay, it is a talking point. When you wear something, it can become a talking point, right? It adds to authority. It reflects your culture, hides emotional state. It creates great impressions, opens doors for success, and it boosts confidence. So more or less, whatever you all were saying, most of the stuff is covered here. Agreed? Yeah.
Yeah.
So move here. So these are basic mannequins that you see. Okay, so just mannequins here, would they mean anything? Nothing, right? But if you put in clothes and if you keep putting in different kinds of clothes, the meaning changes, right? If you put in, if you consider this, if you consider instead of mannequins, you consider our human bodies. The moment we put in clothes, every time it gives a different meaning. Yeah. So clothing communicates. Everyone is with me on this?
Yeah.
Okay. Ashmi will go next. Next. We've all agreed that clothing communicates. Oh, okay, they came together. Anyway, I didn't know this would come in together. So have a look at this. This is one of my clients actually. So you see her transformation. If you see her first 2 pictures, Okay, and check her next two pictures. See the stark difference between them.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you look at her, I mean, in fact, this presentation was supposed to be an animation, but here it doesn't work like that. So you're seeing all the pictures together, which is okay. So just dwell on the first two pictures and see that if you look at her, what would you think? That what would be her designation? So can you tell me, okay, let me ask you, what do you think, where would she be working? Look at the first two pictures. What does it show? Where does she working? What probably is her designation?
Bank.
Bank, okay. Designation? What?
IT.
IT, okay. Anyone would want to say anything more about her? Professionally, we have mentioned anything about her characteristics. How is she as a person?
Sweet and bubbly.
Bubbly, okay. Great smile. Yeah. So she is a banker, very rightly said, and she is from the mid management. And when she came to me, she was getting a promotion actually. So, and she wanted to look like a boss. And her issues which facing is that people would, just give additional work to her, not even ask, and also is doing that. So which can be tricky, right? When you become the boss and you can't have people just dumping in things and not even asking you. So she was facing these kind of problems, but thankfully, after the way she and do you see the difference in her confidence? The first two pictures in this, if you see the first picture, in fact, she's getting an award. So she was. Wasn't that she wasn't, but the moment she changed her look and the way and she I remember her telling me, I want to look like a diva. It's not that, today, and I know her personally, she stays very close to my house. So it's not that she continuously looks like a diva all the time just because she's an image transformation, something like that. It's not like that. But when she wants to be like that, she knows how to be like that. And she's confident about that. That is something which she keeps telling me. And we, of course, are in touch. So that is important. That if you have moved into be, looking somebody else, it's not that you have to change yourself. She did it to be, that was her goal. She did it to be somebody, look like somebody, because she had to look like a boss, right? So Karishma, we'll go next. Yeah. This was just her journey.
Yeah.
So let us get into the, the practical part of clothing. Of course, I understand most of you all are from the fashion industry. You all are doing work in that area. However, so we'll come to the art and fashion, the relation of art and fashion towards the end, towards the later part. But now we will talk about the practical aspect of clothing. As image consultants, and I have some image consultant, colleagues of mine, they will also agree here with me that we constantly talk about these aspects of roles, goals, and occasions while you pick up your clothes. So a good activity to do is before you are heading to the meeting, whether it is you're going and meeting somebody in person, or today, like meetings like this, virtual meetings, it is absolutely important for you to think a day prior that why are you doing the meeting? Where are you doing the meeting? Where, of course, today the where has just been here. Virtually, that has changed for us, unfortunately. But yes, when of course this is not. Hopefully, this is not what the situation is going to be in future. We don't want to be like that. That point in time, we need to check where you're going. Are you going to a hotel? Are you going to someone's office? Are you going? Are they coming to your office? So everywhere the environment is very different, right? So accordingly, you have to choose your clothes. So it's a great idea to choose your clothes a day prior. It's safe. We all have very pressed with time in the morning. That 5 minutes, 10 minutes of time that we get ready and just go. We just end up picking up whatever we see in front and wear and go. That is what happens because we don't plan. So while you're choosing your clothes, it is very, very important that you see, it has to depend on your roles. Are you the negotiator there, or are you there? What are you there for? Basically, are you just going to meet your client just for lunch, maybe? Right? It can be a basic lunch. It's possible. So roles, goals, and occasion. Even the goals, like if you see the the client, her name is Wendy, which the lady who I showed. So Wendy's goal was to look like a boss. So she already knew that this is what are my challenge. She had identified it before she was becoming the boss. So roles as well as goals. So if you are becoming, you're seeing that, okay, today you are a student here, just passed out. Tomorrow you're going to be starting a brand of your own, So you have to go do negotiation. You're the boss at that point in time. So you have to look like the owner of the brand, isn't it? So your
Hello?
There's
Hello?
connection problem at her side, I guess.
Whose side?
Paper, please.
Oh. So I need to check with her. Guys, there's some connection error from her end. She'll just be back in a moment.
She's back.
Yeah. You're on mute, Debrati. Otherwise, all good. Yeah.
really sorry. Just wait 1 second. So I was on this slide on, okay, so I more or less had covered this part. And 1 second, I'm also logging to my laptop. Okay, anyway, so you're able to hear me now properly, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so we'll go next. I have more or less covered this part. So a good idea, something that you all can do for yourself is to create lookbook for yourself. You all are fashion students, so you all will understand what what lookbooks are. So here it is a professional lookbook for myself. This is how I would probably, go whenever I go for meetings. So if you see, there is a picture of me wearing a sari. There's a picture of me wearing different kinds of looks, right? So it's not necessary that I only go, if it's a professional look, it's not necessary that I only would wear one kind of attire. So this lookbook, professional lookbook, has everything, all kinds of clothing that I would wear in terms of my professional setups whenever I have to go for any meetings. Okay. So similarly, you can on Pinterest. It's a good idea to have, so here these are my pictures. You can take reference pictures of different kinds of looks that you like and create, something that you would wear for parties, something that you would. Is it okay?
Yes. Devrati, you'll have to switch off either one of your because it'll keep echoing.
One second. Yeah. I just logged in. I'll log off. Yeah. Yeah. All good?
Yeah.
I just switched this off. As a backup, I had logged in. Anyway, so it's a good idea to create these kind of lookbooks, reference lookbooks for your own self in terms of, because what happens is every day when you have to select what you want to wear, you may not find inspirations. So create these lookbooks and create a personal file for your style file for yourself, where which you can always refer. And again, there would be after maybe after a year, if you go check, you may not like certain things, delete them. Have additional things. So that will be a guide for you to always, so that you don't do any kind of random buying by just picking up anything which is not your style. Okay, Kashmir will go next. Sorry about this internet thing. My internet had just logged off.
No worries.
So we move to the styling part. Style is one of my favorite quote by Rachel Zoe. So style is a way to say who you are without having to speak. Okay? So we'll understand this more. We'll go next. So I like to ask everyone from the audience, whoever would like to say, looking at these pictures, what comes to your mind? Looking at the first picture, what do you think about them? Looking at the first couple, about their style. Their style. So what kind of styling is it? What do you think about them? Anyone?
Well, I think it's very dandy.
Very?
Dandy?
Dandy, yes, okay. Anyone else?
Royal
Sophisticated.
Sophisticated?
More
Very
on
nice.
style. The classic
Sorry, I didn't hear.
style.
Very classy, yes.
Classic style.
It's
Okay.
royal and romantic for me.
Romantic, yes, okay. And what about the second picture?
Indian,
Who is saying classy, yes, okay. What about the second? What
Indian,
is the message you're getting looking at them?
Indian and elegant.
Indian and elegant, okay. Very nice. Anyone else wants to say something? They are the royals from Jaipur. Same thing? Indian and elegant?
Yes.
Okay. So when you look at, okay, the next picture. I'll come to this point, Neil. Anyone is saying, Archana, were you saying something? Did I cut you in between?
Yeah, I said the first picture, it shows that the couple is very close, and despite their age, they seem to be very much still in love. And the second one, they are quite aloof from each other.
Okay. So, but what are you feeling about their style as such? The style, the clothes that they are covering, they are wearing. What do you feel about that?
They're very formal.
Formal, yes. Okay, so I'll go to the next slide.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about this? What do you think?
Maybe
I didn't get you. Maybe you were saying something.
office wear, maybe.
Office wear. Okay, so what do you think about the picture? What is happening? What about the style?
They're having fun.
Fun. Yes. Anyone want to say anything else?
They kind of have the bond between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Would you be a little louder?
They have. It looks as if they have a bonding like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Yeah, they're having fun together, right? Okay, Kashma, will you go back to the previous slide one more time?
Yeah.
So, everyone would think differently about each picture. That is absolutely okay. Everyone had common thing that everyone said was classic in these two pictures, right? Classic, classy, yeah. But did you see that? Do you all feel that they have taken efforts to get ready here in this picture?
Yes.
So they have thought through and got ready. Definitely in the first picture.
Yes.
We also have people who have commented there
I am. Can I see
in the
this?
chat. In the chat. Aparajita has commented.
Casualness, yeah. She's mentioning about the casualness in the second picture. Yeah, we'll come to that. So they've taken time to get ready and make a statement, right? And there is an element of style which they are trying to portray in both these pictures. And when we go to the next slide, Karishma will go now again.
No worries.
So they have also taken time to get ready. But however, there is some fun element happening in this. So it is not just the clothes that you wear. If you have to make an impression, it is also the body language. It is the appearance, it is the body language, which finally communicates. And the way, of course, I mean, in image as image consultants, we say appearance, body language, communication, all three together, and also the way your manners, basic manners, when you portray, when you come and meet a particular person, the first instance, the first impressions, to make great first impressions, manners is absolutely important. It is as important as the way you have dressed and groomed yourself, the way you have spoken the first few words, the way you have smiled, all of it in totality is equally important to make that right first impression. So here we are understanding that you cannot, pick up clothes in isolation and feel that, okay, this is all. The way you communicate, if you have to make great impressions, your clothing as well as communication, body language, everything is important, as important. Okay, so we have to look at ourselves holistically. Okay, so we next. So clothing is a wearable form of art. Okay, we saw the first two pictures and we could make an impression that they have taken time to get ready. And clothing, to get ready, there is nothing to do with age. That we saw. Actually, I was hoping that some people comment about the age, but since nobody did, I thought I'd bring in that, because it's not that when you are young, you should get ready in a particular manner and you can experiment. It's nothing like that. It's nothing to do with age. It is yourself. Okay, we'll go next. So here, most of you all are fashion designers. There are constantly, you all would be creating, clothes twice a year minimum. Yeah, designs twice a year. We'll go next. At least twice a year. Yeah. So what is happening to the amount of clothing that is being made? Finally, it is reaching this place. Why is that so? Why is
It is fast fashion.
Absolutely. So there is clothing that you all are from the industry, you all are taking so much of pain to make, come up with that first collection of the year and then come up with another collection. Then there is wedding collections and things like that. Then there is resort wears and things like that. But however, thanks to the fast fashion, clothes are getting dumped this way. And is this what we want? Is this how we want to see our clothes? It is damaging to the planet. We know that fashion industry has been guilty of being the second most polluting industry in the world. So do we contribute to that more? Instead, however, how about telling our clients, teaching our clients, or creating things which have some meaning? Kashmir will go. How about teaching people that they should buy less, pay more for that particular garment that they are wearing, because that when you're creating something which is more valuable, which is more meaningful, you're ready to pay. You're ready to pay that little bit of extra money, right? If it's a heirloom product, Would you ever, anything, a sari that you have or jewelry that you have, would you just want to just sell it off? Or would you just want to show it off?
No,
Why not?
because it's expensive. So
Expensive and there's meaning attached to it. Is it just expensive? Even if it is, if it's expensive and after years it is, some part of it, it's got a little bit of, some, the yellow mark comes in. Some things like that also happens, but you still want to keep it with your brand. There's meaning attached. So when we tell our customers and when we buy things which is meaningful and we're ready to pay that extra little bit because we know that the person who has created it is somebody probably like the designer, and the designer is giving the right wages to her karigars. We know that process. The designer is giving the clothes, the fabric, which is good quality. When we know that, we will be paying. But that is something that we constantly need to tell constantly need to preach. I understand this is a very tough situation, tough times for designers right now to, completely change the way, people perceive fashion, because they would, I understand when people come in, they come in with their request and you have to just make that. They don't give you a choice. I also understand that bit. But can we all start preaching that to people, and that how difficult it is for that small karigar who's there with you, and how much time that person takes in to make that small piece of garment, that small embroidery which she's doing, embellishments, that takes so much time. So that deserves some bit of money, right? If we start preaching that maybe we all will, and we are all consumers. We are not just people who are giving, making clothes. We are all consumers as well. Can we be a little more mindful for picking up our clothes? Maybe restyle them, rewear them. As stylists, as image consultants, we all constantly keep talking about it. Rewear it, restyle it. There are ample amount of videos when you go to the net. Is doing that, which is a great thing. There's no problem. Let's start doing that by ourselves. Let's buy less, pay a little more, and buy something which is meaningful. Okay? So, 3 things that we need to remember is conformity, creativity, and authenticity when we talk about clothing. Okay, conformity is something wherein you have to be, end of the day, when you are a part of a society, you definitely have to, in some manner, be like them, right? So people like to do business with people who they like. So when you're a part of a society, then you need to be a little bit like them. So when in terms of our clothing, it's not that when we look like a professional dresser. Depends on where you are working. What is the industry that you're working? People like us who work with multiple kinds of industries. Like when I go to a corporate, I have to look a little different, right? When I go to a corporate, someone saying something? When I go to a college, I would probably look a little different, right? If I go in a complete, black business suit and go to a college, maybe they'll be like, oh my God, what's happening? They will not even be able to open up, right? So think about, the slide which I had showed, roles, goals, and occasion. Yeah, think about it before you go for the meeting. It's very, very important. Okay, so once you've understood about the conformity bit, think about how creative you can get. The moment you can actually restyle or rewear, again, creativity is something that doesn't come easy with everyone, come easy to everyone. It takes practice. But try doing that. Try reusing. Maybe before you go and pick up that one garment, think what are the things in your wardrobe, at least 3 to 4 things in your wardrobe which you can match it up with. For that, you need to know what's there in your wardrobe. How often do we go revisit our wardrobes? Now we have been on 3 months of almost 3 to 4 months of wardrobe detox, right? First wardrobe detox. How many of us have actually gone and seen what is there? So if we haven't, maybe this is the time. So we need to know what's there in your wardrobe so that when we go and pick up that one, or maybe from online, we are picking up, of course, here today we wouldn't go and get a chance to go and buy your abaya clothes. So before that, at least we will check what is there, what can match, and not have those pieces of just remain for. When we go to clients' houses and when we see when we do these wardrobe audits and things like that, there are so many people, they get these discoveries that, oh my God, I had these 3 pairs of black pant or 2 pairs of jackets. They get these discoveries. It's lying in this corner. Oh, this is my favorite color. I didn't know I had it. I was almost going to buy. So whenever people come in for consultations of, shopping consultations, they'll give you a list of things they want to buy. But the first thing we ask is, please go visit your wardrobe and tell us what are the things that you have. That's a very difficult task for everyone because they don't want to visit the wardrobe. And mind you, when we see the list becomes half because half of the things are already there. All my image consultants friends will agree to this. This is a common thing which happens. Okay. And finally, the authenticity. So the you factor of while choosing your clothing has to come out. It cannot be your styling, not clothing, your styling. It cannot be a cookie cutter thing happening every time, everyone looking the same manner. It is okay to take inspirations, absolutely okay to take inspirations when new styles are coming, trends are coming, great, it's great. But designers take a lot of pain to create that one collection. They think much, ahead of what we normal people can think. You all are designers. A lot of you all are designers here. They have that ability to visualize, which a lot of us may not have. So let's make use of that. Let's take inspirations, but just don't go blindly and pick up whatever is trendy. Tailor make it to ourselves. Like for example, when cold shoulders came in, I haven't picked up even one. I was gifted 2 of it. One was black and one was white. I still have it in my wardrobe because I once in a while use it. I never bought it because it's something which I didn't relate to. Right? Like palazzos, I wear. Not a lot, but I do. A few of them. But when palazzos came in, everybody would just go buy palazzos. Right? So,
I agree with that. Same goes with ripped jeans, basically.
Jeans.
I've never bought a ripped jeans till date.
High five to you, Mahek. I have a triangle body shape, so I don't know, somehow psychologically or whatever I have seen, they haven't really liked. I haven't even, first of all, I don't wear so much of jeans. I don't enjoy wearing so much of jeans. So I have a couple of these classic, dark blue, well-fitted denim, and anyway, I can constantly keep reusing them. So I don't have a single, ripped jeans at all.
Same. High five, yeah.
Yeah, so
even in my college days, yeah. I just passed out college 2 years back, but never have I bought a ripped jeans.
So see, we have people here who can understand. I think most of you all will agree to this, that it cannot be a complete cookie cutter thing happening here. It has to be tailor-made. So even when you come out and and what happens is, the practical aspect I'd like to share here is, when you know your style very well and you show up again and again wearing a particular kind of clothing. I'm not saying wearing the same style at all. I'm not saying that. People start relating with that. Sometimes people wear some specific kinds of glasses. People start relating them to be wearing that. People start relating you with the kind of hair. Like I have very straight hair. Like today also, if I talk to my school friends, they'll be like, your hair is still that same straight. So that's a talking point for them. People with very curly hair. So that's another thing which people will relate to. Of course, that's nothing to do with clothing, but it is to do with your entire personality, right?
Appearance.
Yeah. So that is a part of your personal style, right? So if you can manage your curly hair, great. Please have great haircuts, and instead of just going and getting it straightened only because it is in trend. If you like to do it, great, no problem. But just don't do it because it is in trend. Yes, I understand straighter is easier to manage. So I completely agree to that. It's easier to manage. Only a person with a curly hair will know the difficulty. I'm saying it looks beautiful. So let's not get into this whole thing of, getting inspiration is okay, but not blindly going and just following people. Okay, so we'll go next. So, personal style is a concept which is quite large. So, what I will do today is just sum it up very, very briefly, so that at least you all get the concept right. Okay, this when we do consultation of personal style. But here, so if look at this slide, and again, tell me some things what you all can understand from this. Okay, what about the first picture of Neena Gupta? What comes to your mind when you see the first picture? One word if you want to say about the first picture.
Kind and sweet. She looks kind and sweet. She looks kind. She looks kind and sweet.
In this picture, okay. Anyone else wants to say anything? Add on?
She's making a fashion statement.
Yes. Very fashionable. Okay. We'll go to the next picture, which is Dia Mirza. We'll go down. Dia Mirza, anything that is coming to your mind looking at a picture?
Simple and elegant.
Simple and elegant. Very nice.
Neena Gupta is trying to look very stylish, but she's looking like she's wearing a bolster cover. I'm so sorry.
She's looking a bit uncomfortable. I
mean, this whatever Neena Gupta is wearing, it's absolutely disastrous.
Disastrous. Okay.
She's not carrying it well, actually.
She's not carrying it well. Okay. Anything else about anything? So we'll go to the next picture. We'll go to Dia now. Anyone opinion about her? So is she looking soft and elegant? Do you all agree with that?
Girl next door.
Girl. What about Nandita Das?
Socialist.
Sorry?
Socialist.
Socialist? Yeah, very, very artistic. Generally, people who are in that, who are into theater, they wear a lot of these cotton stuff. And if you see her dressing up generally, she would wear very simple, understated clothing. Yeah. So this kind of people, very simple, understated, or you have the next picture where she's wearing this lehenga dress. You have that kind of people also who dress up very, very elaborately, right? Very artistically. A lot of dancers wear that kind. A lot of people from the theater, women from the theater would wear something like that. So what about Kiran Kher?
Dramatic clothing.
Extremely bold.
Bold.
Traditional.
Traditional, dramatic, bold. And isn't that her style?
Yes.
What about the last picture, Sonam Kapoor?
Wild and stylish.
Yeah, right? So whatever she wears, she would wear it absolutely, which is very, very trendy. She's a trendsetter, right? Whatever most of the times you would see her wearing things which is very, very different, very, very unique. Right? We'll go to the next.
Fashionista current with the fashions.
Yes, always. We'll go next. What about them? Shashi Tharoor? Anyone?
Moreover, intellectual personality towards their writing part, towards their lecturer.
Very, that's how politicians look, isn't it?
He'll make me look at my dictionary every once in a while.
I think most of us, he does that to us. Very intimidating when he talks, right?
Very, very much.
Yeah. So that's how politicians look, most of the time, right? What about Ranveer Singh?
I guess he's a fashion leader. He carries himself, he wears things which nobody dares to wear and which puts him into the league of fashion leader.
Yeah. Right. So what Ranveer Singh can wear, nobody can wear, isn't it?
What he can carry, nobody can carry.
Yeah, what he can carry, the way he can carry, nobody can carry, right? Okay, we'll go to Sachin Tendulkar.
It's a formal and a professional dressing.
Man of few words.
Yes. Also, if you see Sachin's curly hair is a part of his personal style, right? When people, relate to him or, talk about him or maybe sketch him, they'll always use that. Like one of his, part of his personal style is his hair as well, isn't it? What about me?
Well, he's the first sex idol India ever got. So anything he wears becomes a trend, I guess.
Absolutely. So do you remember him as a model? How many of you remember Milind Soman as a model?
I remember Milind Soman as a model. I still remember when he first debuted in this song called Made in India.
Made in India.
But
he came out of that.
Yeah, and I think he picked up, his career picked up from that particular song.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's very young in that fresh look, fresh face.
Absolutely. So you all remember that phase of, I mean, at least some of you all would remember that phase of Milind Soman and today's phase of Ever Fit. Of course, he was fit that point in time as well. But today, if you see his looks, which he carries, of course, he's talking about everything to do with health. So his image is completely driven to looking very, very sporty. And you would see him here if you see him without chappals. And you see him doing that very often. Right? Very simple clothing. He wears a lot of, sometimes you'll see him wearing dhoti pants and slippers. And he always says that whatever you are wearing, you can just keep running. Don't stop yourself. Right? So whatever he's talking, he's basically walking the talk. So his image has completely changed from being that typical fashion, the supermodel Milind Soman, to being the, absolutely fit at, I think he was 50 or something. I don't remember his age. I think he's somewhere around 50 at this age, right? Aspirational look for a lot of men, I would imagine, right? So you see how his image has changed, and the way his clothing, his personality, what he talks. So image as a whole has to be holistic. It cannot be just one thing you're talking about. You have to look at your person, yourself. If you're talking about your own image, or if you're talking about your client's image, try to understand them, the person, them, and then give them, solutions in terms of clothing. Because most of you all here are fashion designers. Okay. So basically, Krishna, you'll go next. We understand this concept a little more. So personal style is a combination of your personal attributes, which is why I was talking about the physical attributes. The hair was coming in again and again. So that's a part of your personal attributes, right? If you have, freckles on your face, or you have, texture skin, you may have some pimples on your skin. So that's a texture on your skin, right? How tall you are, or what's your height, what's your physical attributes, are you very athletic, are you not? So all these aspects do come into your physical attributes. Then the second part is your personality. So depending on it, so basically your personal style will also have the personality. Personality is something which can take over everything. The moment, even if you see a lot of these film stars like a Kangana Ranaut, she's very, very, her body type is very thin. She's not very tall, but her personality is so strong. She can literally carry anything. She also has very, very curly hair, which is like, which you can't miss, right? Very curly hair or very straight hair comes to, you can see them immediately, right? But for her, you cannot miss, and she can carry off anything. Okay, so personality literally like a Kareena Kapoor, very, very strong personality, literally can carry off anything. Another very important factor when you're choosing your clothing. So basically, your physical attributes don't change. Your personality wouldn't really change. Of course, you would tweak it a little bit here and there when you meet different kinds of people. But your clothing choices should be according to these. And the third part is your clothing values. So your physical attributes, your personality, and your clothing value. So what is clothing value? So it's not the regular value system that we have. It is also, while you are picking up your clothes, there would be some people, for example, would like to buy clothes which are very, very, they are not very expensive. They look for value for money a lot of times. And value comes in first. Value for money comes in first. Some people want to just constantly experiment. They're very experimental with their clothing. So that value comes in first. So first they will see that, is it an experimental kind of clothing? Then they'll feel satisfied. Some people, for some people, aesthetics is very, very important. And aesthetics does not mean it has to be very elaborate. It does not mean that, right? It can be very simple. And if you saw, did you see? Do you remember the picture of what's her name, Nandita Das? How simple her look was. So that's a kind of aesthetics. Very simple and understated. Again, if you see Kiran Kher, very dramatic. You generally see her that way, right? So that comes in first. So you have to understand what is your clothing value, and then pick up your clothing according to that. Pick up your garments according. So it's basically an amalgamation. So these aspects, your physical attributes, your personality, and your clothing values don't change. What can change is according to your clothing. So according to these, your clothing choices can change. So for example, if Dia Mirza, let's go back to Dia Mirza again, and Dia Mirza is her physical attributes are, she's petite, and she has a very soft kind of a look, right? And what she was wearing was also very soft, and there was some floral print on her top. If we had to make her look more authoritative, maybe we would have given, she had to wear, even if she had to wear the same kind of top, maybe a darker color. If you want to increase the authority even more, maybe she could have worn a jacket on top. A softer jacket. If you had to increase the authority even more, maybe she would have worn a stiff jacket. Okay? Or if she had to look taller, maybe some heels with pointed heels, but pointed shoes. Because accessories also play a big role, right? So this is how, according to the personality, according to the physical attributes, you have to keep adding elements of clothing to make your personality look much more stronger. If you want to look stronger, it's not that you have to constantly look a particular type. When you're going to do a negotiation, maybe you want to look stronger. When you want to go and have a quick coffee with your clients, maybe you want to get your layers, your jackets off, roll up your sleeves, right? So this is how you have to constantly tweak and and create that look for yourself. So you can keep doing it for like you have to start thinking about what you are, your physical attributes are, tick yourself, like, okay, your medium body type, you have this kind of hair, these are the, physical features that you have, you're an athletic body type, or you have, you're a curvy body type, okay? Then talk about your, you can tick your personality. Is it a medium personality? Is it a soft personality? If it's a soft personality, maybe you have to add more elements which will make you look more strong. Again, voice comes into your physical attributes as well. If you have very strong voice, and if you're wearing like a power suit all the time, maybe it may be very intimidating for some people. So think about that as well. Okay, and choose clothing according to it. Krishna will go next. So if you understand your personal style, what happens? Why are we even talking about personal style? Okay, so people start identifying you with it. Once you know that this is your personal style, people start identifying with you. Okay. Today, especially in the days of constant clutter, digital clutter, you want people to remember you, right? So you want people to start identifying with you, in your social media profiles. You can create a signature style. Once you've identified what your personal style is, you can create a style which is very, very, which is just you. It can be just with a kind of specs that you're wearing, a kind of statement pieces that you wear. It could be your big earrings that you wear. It could be anything. Or maybe simple, you generally come up with something, maybe jackets, you love to wear jackets, and you come up with a style where you wear a lot of jackets. Or kind of shoes. There are people who wear different kinds of socks. There are a lot of men who wear that different kinds of. Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, he is President, sorry. So he wears this kind of, different socks. So come up with something which is very, unique to you, and then probably you can keep, that could be your signature style. You save money when you go shopping. because you don't have, you wouldn't do impulse buying. There would be lesser times that you will say that, I don't know what to wear. And you'll have a wardrobe which you love, most importantly. Yeah. And you finally would be able to carry yourself very, very confidently. Okay, we'll go next. So never underestimate the power of a good outfit on a bad day. Yes? So, we've spoken so much about, everyday dressing. We have spoken about personal style. Have you all experienced that you all have met, even if you met one person who is impeccably dressed, wonderfully dressed, but you don't want to just talk to them? Has anyone has anyone met somebody like that? Very nicely dressed that person is, but you just don't feel like going and talking to the person. I have. Anyone has experienced? Yeah. Sometimes what happens is the personality is so intimidating that you just don't want to go and even to that particular person, or maybe that person's behavior is not somebody who you can relate to.
Even their body language.
The body language is not something which you can absolutely. So that's when the other aspects of image, apart from the appearance, apart from the clothing, other aspects come in. Your body language, the way you're communicating, your basic behavior towards others, your manners comes in. Okay, so we have to look at ourselves in totality. So we'll come to the end of the session, and I would request everyone. Krishma, you'll go to the next slide.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Q&A is there. So anyone wants to ask anything about everyday, art about this topic? We can be open to questions now. Any questions, anyone? I'm more or less done. Anything from your side? Mehak is asking.
We have one question, I guess. So Alicia has asked, you spoke about wearing layers and heels. What about comfort?
Yeah. Very good question. So comfort has to come first. There is no debate on that. Especially when you are, for example, if it is you're going for an interview, never wear things that you are not comfortable in. Never wear things like you're wearing for the first time, like a pair of clothing, you've never worn them, never wear them. If it is, of course, when you wear heels, you look taller. That looks more authoritative. If you're not comfortable in heels, then don't go for heels. Rather, make your body posture more straight. So with the body posture, you look much taller. Wear clothing which will make you look much more taller. Maybe a neckline which is the taller effect, if that's your intention. But definitely do not wear things which is not comfortable. What you can do is, if you probably like to wear heels but are not comfortable, practice wearing heels for shorter occasions, like you're going for a dinner with your friends or something like that. Practice wearing it. But if it is something like, I don't wear a lot of heels, I don't wear more than 2 inches for sure, it doesn't work for me. But some people carry off 4 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches so well. I have my son is 9 years old. I'm constantly running with him when I'm, of course, not in the professional front, personally. So there's no chance that I would be wearing heels and running with him. It's not possible. So it's not practical. So you have to look at the practical aspect and your comfort first. And still, if you have that aspiration to look taller or look more stylish, see, there's not a debate. When you wear heels, they make you look much more stylish. There's no debate on that. But there are alternatives also, and if you still want to wear that, please practice. Have I answered? Okay, another thing about layers is layers can get uncomfortable. Like I personally don't wear a lot of layers, especially in the Mumbai weather. Maybe if you want to wear layers also, you can wear layers like the soft layers, like, thick jackets. You can wear the softer layers. Alternately, if you, like, we all travel a lot, right? Till the time when you go to a destination where you're doing a training or doing a meeting, don't wear it, carry it. Because when anyway the meeting will be in an AC environment, that time you can wear it if you want to make that impression and if you feel comfortable in layers. If you're not, then don't wear it. That's fine. But the fact that a layer adds to authority, that you cannot take away. Okay.
So, how do you suggest that we can confidently team up print on print, excluding stripes or polka dots?
How do I suggest? I didn't get your question, sorry.
How to confidently team up print on print trend, excluding polka dots or stripes? Because that's a no-brainer thing to do.
See, print on print, first of all, in all these design elements, print is the most difficult thing to match. We all understand that. If you're pro at already doing a lot of mixing and matching, try doing that. In terms of prints, of course, you have to also see your body type and body shape. I mean, sorry, I didn't get you. Are you asking me something, or can I continue with the question? So you can start with things like, in the same color family where when you wear prints, and if you are wearing prints in the same color family, for example, if you are wearing a print, I mean, I don't have pictures right now, otherwise I could have shown you some pictures. For example, if it is blue, if one top which you're wearing has prints like blues and whites, if you are alternating the bottom, if you take stripes of blue and one is florals, right? So that will match because it's the same color family.
That is what I mentioned, no stripes and polka dots.
So I'm not talking about polka dots, I'm talking about any other print. It can be a random print. So, but a good idea is if one of it is curvy prints and one of it is lines. That will all.
What about the motif size?
Motif size also, of course, will matter. Motif size will matter as per your body shape. Okay, if you have a body shape which is a curvier body shape, then the motif size should be small to medium. Again, the placement of the motifs, if they are placed very far from each other, then it will add on to the space and it will look that part of your body, wherever you're wearing it. If it's you're wearing on the top or wearing it at the bottom, that will look more bigger. Again, it will matter on the texture of your fabric. What kind of texture have you chosen? Is it a stiff texture? And if it is a stiff texture, for example, and if you have a lot of print, it will add to a lot of visual weight. So it is very difficult to just say it without knowing what the body type of the person is, what style, personality the person is. Not everyone can carry off any kinds of mixing and matching of prints. But yes, safe is one print and one larger print and one smaller print. Which should be in the place wherein you're more confident to flaunt. Like I have a triangle body shape, which means I have my lower body is heavier, so I don't wear a lot of big prints in the bottom. I go for very small prints or solid colors. Anything else we would like to know about this?
That's good.
Yeah, we have another question from Pihu. She's saying it's an old saying that don't judge the clothes you're wearing, but the person inside is main importance to life. So what you can advise for me? Something to do feel right, but sometimes it's about only the outfit too. So please advise.
Okay. You were saying something?
No.
Okay.
So Pihu, can you turn on your mic? Okay, Adivati, you can answer.
Okay. See, it's a good thing to say and it's a right thing to say that do not judge people by the clothing, right? Do not judge the book by the cover. But does it really happen? To make the first impressions, at least, at least to make the first impressions, clothing and grooming is absolutely important. Of course, it is as important as the way you are communicating the first time when you are, the way your basic behavior is when you met that particular person. It is equally important. But it is not that people will ignore your clothing. When you just put yourself in that person's shoes, for example, when you go outside and go meet a stranger, and there are certain vibes that you get and you don't want to, talk to that particular stranger, and some people you just quickly start talking with. Why does it happen? Does clothing also play a part? Think about it. Because we just get those few seconds to make the first impressions and, start talking, or you just want to just be away and, watch that person for some more time and start talking, isn't it? So clothing that way gives you a good cue. Start talking to the person, make a conversation or no. So it can be a conversation starter, right? So can you ignore that bit? Yes, when you get that chance, get that opportunity to spend some more time with the person or meet the person again and again later, that time it is okay. You can create, it has happened with us, right? That we have made a wrong first impression maybe for the first time, but we did get the second chance. It's not that you don't get the second chance, but in this competitive world, do you want to lose out on that chance? And again, going to a particular place and representing yourself does not mean you have to look a particular type all the time. It has to be situational. Right? If you're going to your child's school, you have to look at your lifestyle, right? When you go to a child's school, so that's when that rules and goals comes into the picture. When you go into a child's school, your body language, the way you would dress up would be very different from the way when you're going and meeting your clients. Right? And when you're going and representing yourself in a social gathering, your entire body language, your everything will change. The way you dress up again will change. Right? You want to make impression there. Right? Yeah. So clothing will help. Clothing will.
Satisfied with the answer.
Thank you.
Now Dikshita has asked one question that what is a style every woman should try at least once in her life?
There is no particular style that somebody, classic style is something that everyone should definitely look. That is something which is very standard. Your wardrobe should have, again, depending on what kind of, what is your profession. If you are a model, then obviously you need to have more trendy clothes and you need to be showing up with a lot of trendy stuff. But otherwise, for regular people, it is a good idea to have a good mix of classic and a trend. So basically, maybe about 80%. Again, 80% is just a number that I'm giving. It need not be. So if you are someone who likes to wear a lot of trendy things, your basic pieces in your wardrobe ready, like the right kind of bottoms, the right kind of shirts or tops, where you can do a lot of mix and match. Everyone who's extremely well styled, all of them depends on, whether they are a model or they are, a working professional or a banker or just a trainer, whatever. Everyone who is well styled will have their basic pieces with them very well, and they should be high quality, because you don't want to go run and get that right, camisole inside your jacket, right? Again and again, you may not find the right kind of fitted camisole inside, or the right jacket, which you again wear again and again. So have the basic pieces right, which is more important than going and thinking that what is the style that you should be following, because end of the day it is your personality, because your personality should be reflected in your personal style, and that is very, very you. And again, it is not that you can wake up and create a personal style for yourself. You have to understand yourself. It takes time. And again, the style can be enhanced. It's not that your personal style is a particular type now. So it is, again, after after a year, it cannot change. If your profession is changing, your personal life is changing. You're becoming, for example, you're becoming a mother. Your style will change. Not necessarily will change, can change. So don't get stuck with that it should be a particular type. I will not advise that for sure. Any other questions?
Hi, Devarati, I have a question. This is a little apart from the personal styling. it was mentioned in quotes that buy less, pay more.
Buy less, pay more.
Yeah. So a lot of influencers and bloggers have been doing, videos on sustainable clothing and everything. So could you just explain a little more on this topic? Because, there are couture designers and all other designers also. And so how would you justify for the handworks and handcrafts and the people who are working for it? If we, buy less and pay more, obviously we are already paying a lot of money for that. I mean, each lehengas are in lakhs, are priced at lakhs. So so how would you justify sustainable clothing with paying them also and continuing their work?
See, sustainable fashion is a huge topic to talk about, but topic that you have very rightly pointed out in terms of occasional wear, I'll get to that bit mainly, because if somebody's creating a garment wherein they are paying a particular, maybe paying a lakh, it's a good idea to advise your clients to create that you are the designer, right? You will be creating a garment, right? So if it separates, then they can reuse the same, maybe the blouse, maybe the dupatta, maybe the skirt in multiple ways. Come up with these options. So,
yes, that is what the clients are, seeing the videos and being inspired with that, and they're doing that. So in terms of, I mean, after doing sustainable clothing and everything, people have, stopped buying the amount of clothes that they used to buy before this pandemic. And I'm just not talking about all the outfits that is there.
It is going less. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm just not talking about the heavier occasions. Maybe even for get-togethers and everything, there are clients. There are a particular, niche clients who buy in for like 30,000-40,000, and they used to randomly buy for a new occasion or new get-together or anything, and they have stopped buying, for this pandemic, that they don't want to spend on new garments and so.
Okay, so.
And that is somehow affecting, the karigars and the company and everything. So how would you define that?
So in terms of you as designers, you all are the one who will be creating garments as per the need of the customers, right? So if you need at that point in time, maybe before pandemic, wherein people were okay to pay that 1 or 2 lakhs without even thinking so much, you all have to come up. That's where I guess we all, as a community, like image consultants, stylists, your designers, we have to come up with solutions wherein they buy the right products. Because end of the day, it's not about what they spend or how much they spend. They will spend the kind. Of course, if somebody has lost their jobs or if there is a major loss in which is happening right now in terms of their business, they will not have the money to spend. But rather, if they spend money, they should buy the right products. And end of the day, as people from the industry, that's what we want, right? So let's start making products which will be more valuable to them. Let us make them aware of the fact that for a karigar to do the neckline ka work, this is the amount that they have to pay them minimum for the wage. So instead of having a garment which is full of work, maybe we can go lighter and wear that same kurta for 2 more or 5 more occasions. Because the moment you take a statement garment, any statement garment, you can't wear it again and again until you mix and match. So it is our job as designers, and especially for all of you all are absolutely new, and you all are the ones who are going to be making the changes, right? The damage which the fashion industry in past has done, that's how, if that is what it continues in future, then I don't know where, the growth is going to go. Let's create solutions for them. Because I remember somebody I know, she's not a designer, but she owns a store which has designer garments. So earlier her garments would start from I think 30,000-40,000 and above. That's the kind of clothing.
Same. Yeah. That's the range that we start.
Even things which is within 10,000 as well. Lesser than 10,000 as well, and she's giving a lot of mixing and matching options, and she started doing videos wherein not everyone it can do mixing and matching like a pro, but she's educating people so that they can still go and buy. There are a lot of EMI options people are coming up with. So we have to be, as designers, I understand we're all very creative. I'm not a designer, but we're creative people, but we also have to understand the business aspect of fashion as well, because at the end of the day, the collection has to sell. And I'm convinced that you all have to start thinking from the consumer's point of view and not create something, a collection which is very now. And again, the pandemic has hit and none of us were prepared. None of us were prepared. It's a very different situation. It's not what is going to be in future. We will be more mindful, and all of us, I'm sure, will be more mindful about what we pick up, how much we pick up. What if this state is there for another 1 year? We don't know that. We don't know when vaccines are coming in. So we have to now relook at we need to be more in touch with the consumers and ask them, then what do you want? What is that which will help you? Every occasion that we wear, like Ganpati, would you not want to have that one piece of, 1 or 2 new saris or, whatever, like whoever wears whatever or Diwali, we still would want to have that. Like I'm a Bengali, so we have Durga Puja is like a big thing for us. So we wear new clothes every day, like twice a day. So we would want to have at least a few. But we definitely solutions coming from you all, that how we can buy something which we can wear more number of times. And we should be happy that consumers are having that awareness. As designers, I think we should feel very proud that yes, some influencers probably have done something good. Like we as image consultants constantly talk about mixing and matching. That's a core of one of our styling work. We do that. So should fashion designers do it. I think we should be happy and start making collections according to the needs.
Absolutely. Well explained. Thank you so much.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Given the fact that we drink and breathe polyester and
I'm unable to hear you, sorry.
Given the fact that we really drink and breathe polyester right now, and this whole debacle that has been created around sustainability, where so-called brands really claim to be sustainable, but it's just an eyewash. What is your take on design once it hits a saturation point?
What is my? I didn't get the last part of it. I heard it's polyester is all over.
What happens? Like, see, now everything at some point it hits a saturation point, right? So, like, what is your take on fashion design or design as such when it hits a saturation point?
Design in terms of, my question is, how can design be at the saturation point? I'll ask you this because what I understand, what Hina was asking me, if I can relate these two questions, there will be a demand. I understand things are changing. I understand that the buying power of people have reduced. People are becoming much more conscious in terms of the price points as well as the kind of clothing, the fabric, the quality that they're wearing. Okay. Designers, we should be able to be more creative and create collections which is related to them, right? I understand that people say that this is sustainable fabric and sustainable clothing fabric, and half of the things are not sustainable.
Yeah, exactly.
It is their ethics, right? We as consumers, as designers, being in the trade, forget the consumers, we being in the trade, we should start asking them questions that where did you buy them from? The whole movement of where, who made my clothes? If consumers are asking us who made my clothes, we ask the people who we are buying the fabrics from, that where is it coming? What kind of ethics are happening? The entire supply chain, it will take time. It will not happen overnight.
It will take a lot of time.
But isn't it a good change? Shouldn't it start from all of us in some manner?
Yeah, it has to start from one person at least.
Absolutely. So, and aren't we all happy with the fact that people are asking these questions and it is reaching the consumer? This whole fashion revolution thing which was happening, it was all to do with us and the people from the industry or the fashion people. But end of the day, fashion revolution, whatever has happened, it has to reach to every consumer so that there is an awareness. Now we all have polyesters lying in our our cupboards. We all know that. So what do? We just and buy again cotton, because to produce that cotton fabric also it takes a lot of water.
Yeah.
Which has come up, like hemp is there, I understand that. Are there alternative? So there has to be a lot of work there also. For designers like you all have to get the fabrics easily. It shouldn't be like you have to constantly do a lot of research to get that one fabric. It will be difficult for you all, I understand that. But the point is, isn't it that a good thing that has started? Let us all try, putting, holding each other's hands, and probably, you have found a good source of fabric or a good category, maybe you should share it with others. I'm just giving an example. Only if we all work together will there be a good change. And one good part thing that the pandemic has done is it has at least slowed us down. It has done that pause wherein we are at least seeing what is happening, and seeing what is there in our wardrobe and seeing our lifestyle as a whole, away from our entire lifestyle, right? Right. So yes, these things will happen. You will hear that there are 3 people saying they're sustainable brands, but they are not. Your 20 fashion designer friends or people who are there that don't purchase from them, they are not. And this is what I know. That's what I can think of as of now, I guess.
Okay, so like as of now, all we can do is start somewhere.
Start somewhere. This is also very, very little. What has also started, it has to reach to the entire mass. It will take
That will take a lot of time, because then they'll have the.
Where are the certifications? If you see, where are the certifications, right, for sustainability as such?
Yeah, see, again, like there are different certifications for sustainability. Like if you take ISO 9001, it's just a certification. It's not something that really helps the environment.
Yeah.
It's just a certification so that the company comes under the Act of Sustainability, so that tomorrow if the government decides that, textile companies have to come under the mark of sustainability, so that then they get saved.
But it is, as a whole, fashion industry is a very unstructured industry. It is not, a lot of us work from home, or we'll have this small time, workshops where we'll work from, our caricatures work from there. So the multinationals can do this, but small time people are huge in numbers. We know that. So it's difficult for them to get certification. So it's quite tricky. It's
the whole process is messed up, I guess.
Right. Right. So let's do our bit.
Exactly. Thank you.
Any more questions?
I have one last question, if Devarti, you don't mind.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
One last question. Yeah, I wanted to ask that, in most of the places that I've read, it says that, to build your personality, you should wear darker bottoms and, darker colored bottoms and all. It gives you more confidence and all. I don't know, I've read in most of the places, but there are designers who are doing plums and yellows for their bottoms and all. So being an image consultant, have you ever asked your client to wear pastel shades or more colored poppy colors for bottoms? Have you experienced that?
Always. So just put yourself in yourself in a client. Like, suppose if you are my client, and if first of all, do you enjoy wearing colors, or do you like darker colors more?
For my body type, I think I don't wear brighter colors for my bottoms.
Okay.
But yes, I love experimenting with colors and for my tops and jackets and all.
Like colors, right? So everybody who enjoys wearing colors should wear colors. Yes, I understand. You need to be mindful about what you wear. Again, depends on the occasion that you're wearing, the kind of profession that you are in. I would recommend people according to that. If somebody is going to meet a hotelier for that matter, who are very, very formal, or maybe an investment banker. If somebody is going to meet that person for a business deal, I will not suggest the person to wear maybe red bottoms. Maybe if the person's personality is as such that she carries off the red bottoms, I mean the maroon bottoms very well. So then instead of red, I will share, okay, fine, great, go for a maroon. Wear that, and maybe wear a very structured shoes, wear a top which is very, very structured, maybe a white or a, something which is more formal. Because why you're going where you're going to meet, who you're going to meet is the banker. Maybe wear a jacket. So there, a dash of color is absolutely okay, provided
I've seen like scarlet and fuchsia suits and everything. But then again, in quotes, it's written that you should always wear blacks and midnight blues for your bottoms.
Nothing like that. You should not. I have been a hotelier for 10 years. I have that one business suit which is still lying after being leaving the industry. I have just left it like memory hai wo wala. Because I just bought it right. I have worn it maybe once or twice. I basically don't wear jackets. But image consultants wear a lot of jackets, which is again as per their personal styles. They, the structured jackets. I don't really wear business suits because I don't enjoy it. Alternately, if I have to be very, very formal, I go for a sari because I'm very comfortable in sari. I've worn saris for 3 continuous years, and that point in time I was even pregnant with my son, and that time I was a hotelier. So I'm comfortable with sari. So I would rather wear it, right? To be looking very formal. If I have to look formal, so you have to see your roles, your personality, your personal style. Some people can, pick up. You can. There are people I know who wear business suits, which is very, very colorful, and they carry it off very well, if they can. And if it's a business suit, not like I'm still with the fact that we are talking about somebody going to a banker. Okay.
Yeah.
Banker, and if you're wearing a business suit, like a matte suit, and if it's a nice bright color and it's a personality, you can carry it off, why not? But it shouldn't be chinos on and a shirt and a jacket. Then it becomes very much more, it doesn't have authority.
Maybe more structured jumpsuits and all that we are just seeing. So we'll just leave that line and coats in for the old days.
Or maybe an athleisure look for the airport, where you can go with the brides.
Depends on where you're wearing it. There is nothing as yes and no's, and there is nothing as yes and no's. I mean, I would, for the longest time, would wear only dark color bottoms because I have heavier lower my bottom.
Same. Yeah.
But I have got one light pink. Maybe I'll share with Karishma maybe a picture which she can share with. You are from the college? Are you from the college?
No, I'm not.
Then maybe connect with me. I'll share you a couple of pictures where I've worn, bright color chinos with darker top. But how I have worn it has made me, so I need to make my legs look longer. Right?
If you could just share the picture so that we can get an idea of how to style light color bottoms.
Or going monochrome is safe with colors.
So, but would you like to be safe all the time? You may not.
Yeah, those who are doubtful about it.
Yeah, absolutely. When you are in doubt, go for classics. And when doubts, like for me, whenever I'm in doubt, I go for saris. When it comes to very formal meetings, it's a no-brainer for me. But that works for me. It may not work for others. So find these things, and so you need to start thinking about yourself. You remember I showed a picture of the entire lookbook of mine, in the sense the professional. Yeah. So that after looking through my different pictures and things like that. Similarly, you can make these lookbooks, professional lookbooks for yourself, for your, when that is professional, maybe something on occasional wear, and create these lookbooks on Pinterest. Pinterest should be your go-to for this.
And also what you said while you were answering Alicia's question, that you try it out. So if you're in doubt, you can just try doing something, with a safer group of people, or maybe just by yourself, looking at the mirror and taking a critic from people you trust from. So that could be a good way, because if you're so mindful about and you're so interested and passionate about dressing up, I think experimenting will come as a natural. So if you're not confident, try it, see how it feels, see how you like it, and then of course you can carry it off.
And also take opinion of people, a couple of your friends who you know that they'll give you a opinion. And you And until unless you try, yes, maybe you should not try when you're going for that important interview.
You're going out with a comfortable group of people, and you know that you can goof up in front of them. So that's actually a good place to try it.
Yeah. So yeah, that was print and print. I think Priyanka had asked me on those print and print experiments and things like that. They have great, lot of print and print kind of cues you will get. Sorry, not cues, pictures you will get on Pinterest. Create boards. Not necessarily you will be able to, do or replicate everything. But it's not that you cannot do. Start doing it slowly. You will be able to do it, and then you will become a pro. It's great to make rules. First of all, it's great to know your rules. Then you can break those rules, and later you can create your rules, right? And designers, we would know that, right? First, you know how to do it. How do you do your mix and match? Then break them as per your personality, whenever you want, and then create your own style, your own rules. So these three things, but it shouldn't be like first only you're going and breaking rules, then you will be like all over the place. It should be coming one after the other. Okay. Any more questions?
I guess we are done. So thank you, Debarti, for wonderfully answering all the questions. And I am already getting comments that people have loved the webinar, and it was very relatable. So, everyone really enjoyed it, and the tips are, I'm sure, very helpful. Everybody will now go to their wardrobe and
Absolutely.
No, please do that. Please revisit your wardrobe. You see, looking good is feeling good. We all know that. And why not? I understand vanity. Vanity people talk about it, but a bit of vanity is not a bad idea, right? Yeah. And any questions further, if anyone has, you can, Image by Debarati is my brand name. My website is also the same name. My social media pages are all of the same name. You can always reach out to me. You can take my number from Karishma to Live. There was a slide, but anyway, you can take my number. I will type in my number anyway here.
So thank you, Debarati, and thank you, Karishma, for making this happen. It was a wonderful seminar. We have more webinar coming up on Handloom Day on 7th of August. So if you just go to our Instagram and Facebook, you will get more details about the webinar on Handloom Day. We will soon share the registration link, so you can register for the webinar. You can always reach us. Our contact details are shared on the screen. So you can anytime contact us for more details on our courses. Our admissions are open. Thank you everyone for attending this webinar and making it a success.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's our pleasure, Debarati, to have you.
Should we log out?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
Well done, everybody. Good work. Good work. Thank you.
thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks,
Ma'am, can we
everyone,
log out?
for attending.
Yes, please. Yes, please log out.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, Pope.
Hello.